What's up? This is Trey T, and in this video, I will be giving a movie review of the movie The Black Phone. It came out in 2021. I wanted to see it, and I forgot all about it. I just recently saw that it was available on Amazon Prime, so I watched it last night. Be advised, there are spoilers ahead in this video. The movie takes place in 1978 in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. It starts off basically with a baseball game where Finney Blake is the pitcher and Bruce Yamada is the batter at the plate. So the first pitch, Finney throws a strike. He has the girl that he likes. She's in the crowd watching. The second pitch, he throws a strike. His teammates are cheering, "Strike him out, Finney, strike him out." Everybody think it's gonna be strike three. In the last pitch, Bruce Yamada hits a home run and his team wins the game. Now, after the game is over with and the teams are shaking hands, Bruce Yamada tells Finney, "Hey, your arm is mint." Meaning, like, you got a heck of an arm. Your arm is in like mint condition. So then Finney goes home with his family, and Bruce Yamada rides his bike home. On his way home riding his bike, he's approached by a black van, and the grabber jumps out of the van and proceeds to kidnap Bruce. Then you start seeing all types of missing posters of all the kids that have gone missing in town. That's basically like the first couple of seconds of the movie. They just start showing a whole bunch of kids that have gone missing in the town. Then they end up at the school, and there's a large crowd gathering, and Finney's friend Robin gets into a fight with a racist bully who calls him like a beaner or something like that. And then Robin definitely just like brutally beats the bully up. And then some other bullies start to chase Finney, and Finney runs into the restroom, and they corner him and about to beat him up. But then after the fight with the other bully, Robin comes into the restroom, and he tells the bullies, "If you mess with Finney again, you're gonna have to deal with me." And then the bullies leave. And then Robin tells Finney that one of these days you're gonna have to stand up for yourself. And Finney's like, "I'm not like you. I'm not strong like you." And then Robin tells Finney that he needs his help again with his math homework, and can Finney come over his house to help him with his math homework, because he doesn't understand it when the teacher is explaining it. He understands it better when Finney explains it. So after school, Finney's sister Gwen tells Finney that she's sleeping over a friend's house, but she also told like one of the other students that she had a dream about Bruce Yamada being kidnapped by the grabber. So the police call her into the principal's office and questions her about it, and she like curses them out and stuff. And she just said it was just a dream, it's not real and all that. So then when they get home, Finney is watching TV, then he falls asleep. And when he wakes up in the morning, he hears his sister crying. Her dad is abusive alcoholic. Cause she told him when she told Finney he was staying over at a friend's house, Finney responds was, "Okay, I'll take care of Dad." So that just shows like he's an alcoholic. Something happened to the wife where she died or something like that. I'll get into that later on. So he's spanking the daughter because the police showed up to his job to question him about the dreams that the girl had. So he's spanking her and telling her the dreams aren't real. You need to realize that and stop talking and all that. And then on a walk home, Finney's friend Robin is kidnapped by the grabber. And Gwen has a dream about it. The police come to her house and once again they ask her about it. So now with Robin gone, the bullies begin to attack Finn again. And his sister Gwen actually steps in and throws a rock at one of the kids and makes him bleed real bad. And then she starts fighting him and stuff, and they fight her back, and one of them like kick her and stuff like that. And then while Finney is walking down the street, he sees a man dressed in black and a top hat drop his groceries. And Finney walks up to him like seeing if he can like help him. And the man says he's a magician, and he asks Finney if Finney wants to see a magic trick. And then once that happens, Finney asks him, "Are those black balloons?" And then the man grabs Finney and proceeds to like put some stuff in his mouth to like drug him or something. And then Finney had this like rocket ship that he used to play with in the classroom. It was like a flashlight / rocket ship, and he used it to like cut the grabber while he was trying to put him in the van. So the grabber ends up grabbing Finney and throwing him into the van. The grabber takes Finney back to his house into his basement and places him on a bed. Finney wakes up to see the grabber and he sees a black phone in there. The grabber tells Finney that the phone doesn't work. It hasn't worked since he was a kid. And then once again, Gwen at the moment she had told, before Finney got kidnapped, she had told him once again she was sleeping at a friend's house, and Finney was like, okay, I'll take care of Dad. So Gwen was at a friend's house when she got the news that Finney never came home. And that's when she ran out the house crying. The grabber comes down the stairs with his arm bandaged from the cut that Finney did with the rocket ship toy. And he tells Finney, okay, I can't bring any food. Finney told him he was hungry. And the grabber told him, I can't bring any food right now. And he was like, why not? Is there somebody else upstairs? And then he was like, I'll scream. He said, go ahead, scream. I soundproof this room myself, so nobody's going to hear you scream down here. So the black phone begins to ring, and Finney picks it up. And like, it's not even connected. The line is cut. And there was nobody on it. The grabber had actually said that it rings sometime because he thinks it's like the electromagnetic field or something. So once it rung once again, and Finney picked it up again, and this time it was somebody on the other end of it. It was actually Bruce Yamato on the other end. And Bruce tells Finney about a hole that he began digging in the restroom that he didn't get to finish before the grabber killed him. So then they began to flash back of how Bruce was kidnapped by the grabber. So Finney goes to look for the hole so he can start digging. The grabber finally goes downstairs and finally brings Finney some food and drink. And he leaves. But he leaves the door unlocked. So while Finney is eating his food, the black phone rings again, and it's a paperboy on the other end. It's not Bruce this time. It's a paperboy named Billy, who was also kidnapped by the grabber. He tells Finney it's a trap. Don't go upstairs. The grabber is waiting with a belt to beat you. While all this is going on, Gwen has a dream about Billy, and like it proceeds. In the dream, it's a backstory of how Billy was kidnapped and is shown. Gwen sees a visual of the grabber and the house and the trees that he's standing in front of in the dream. So the black phone rings again, and it's Billy again. And this time Billy tells Finney it's a cord in the wall that he had pulled loose. He told Finney to use it to tie around the window to escape. Finney uses the carpet that's in the bathroom to help tie the cord around the window, and he began to climb the wall. He's able to get it tied around the window. He begins to climb the wall, but he I guess he weighs too much, and it causes the window frame to break, and it falls down to the ground. So now he can't even use the rope to climb out. Now at this moment, I'm sitting there like, okay, if the window is open, why don't you just start screaming now? If it's soundproof, the grabber may be able to hear you from outside, but he got a lot of neighbors also too, so maybe one of the neighbors will hear you screaming, since he can't hear you from the inside. So then Gwen has a dream about Finney being kidnapped by the grabber. She is reluctant to tell her father because she don't want him to get mad and yell at her and spank her again. So eventually he believes, that's when the father tells her that her mother had dreams and she took her own life. The dreams weren't real, and that's why she took her own life. So that's the backstory of what happened to the mother. So maybe that drove him to being an abusive alcoholic drunk. I don't know. But they began driving around looking for the house that Gwen saw in her dream, and had a number on the outside of the house. So then they find the house and they call the police. And the police come to the house that Gwen saw in a dream. And when they knock on the door, a man named Max opens the door. And he just invites them in and like, oh, y'all working on the case with the missing kids? Maybe I can help. So he shows them like a whole board of the grabbers' patterns, and he tells them that right now I'm staying at my brother's house, but I can help you. Look, if you look here, like he has to live real close because he has to be able to kidnap him and hurry up and bring him to his house. So he got to be somewhere around this area. And realistically, the police were really ignoring him because he was making some good points. So then Max is shown doing some cocaine after the police leave, and then the camera pans down to show that Finney is actually in Max's basement. So when the camera goes down, Finney is actually beneath the floorboards. So the grabber goes downstairs to talk to Finney. And once again, when the grabber leaves, he leaves the door unlocked. The black phone rings again, and it's Billy telling Finney he's only still alive because he won't play the game. That's the only way you move to the next step is by playing the grabber's game. He wants you to go up those stairs. Billy tells Finney that right now the grabber is asleep. So now is your best time to escape up the stairs. While the grabber is sitting in the chair with the belt, but he's asleep. The black phone rings again, and this time it's a boy named Griffin. Griffin tells Finney there's a lock on the door upstairs. It is my old bike lock. He tells Finney he carved the combination into the wall, but he doesn't remember the exact combination, so you gotta try them all. So then Finney goes upstairs. He memorizes the combination. Then he creeps up the stairs, and he gets to the grabber while he go past the grabber while he's sleeping. At this point, dude, you're in the kitchen. I don't know why he just didn't try to kill the grabber right there, stab him or something. Like, I don't understand that part. So he makes it past the grabber up the stairs. He tries the combination and it opens. As soon as he gets it open, the grabber's dog starts barking and wakes the grabber up. The Finney opens the lock and hurry up and runs out the house down the street. Now, I don't know why he just didn't try to like run zigzag. Why did he try to run straight down the street? I don't know. Why he didn't try to run like in between the houses, because the grabber was driving in his van, and that's how he ended up recapturing Finney. And then he put Finney in a chokehold because Finney was yelling and some of the neighbors' lights turned on. And the grabber pulled out a knife and said, "Be quiet or I'll slit your throat," or something like that, or I'll stab you or something. So then he recaptured Finney and put him back in the basement. So at this moment, Gwen has another dream. The black phone rings and it's a boy named Vance. He was a bully that Finney remembered when he was younger. He tells Finney, "Oh, it's over now. It won't be long now." The backstory of Vance is shown, and like Vance was in like an arcade, and he got into like he was playing pinball, and he was almost about to beat his record again, and like somebody bumped into him and caused him to lose, so he started fighting them, and they got in a fight, and then like one of the dudes pulled out a knife, and Vance was able to take the knife and beat the dude up, and he carved a number into the guy's arm, 7741. And in the flashback, Gwen is actually supposedly she gets into the car with Vance, and she remembers the 7741, and now she was like, well, that may be the house number, so she's gonna go to the house to try to find Finney. So then the black phone rings and it's Vance, and Vance he's talking like real brash and stuff. He has an attitude. He tells Finney there's a storage room behind the wall with a freezer, that Finney needs to break the wall and try to escape through the freezer on the other side. So Finney takes the toilet top off from the back of the toilet, and he breaks the wall, and then he unscrews the bolts and stuff, and then he climbs into the freezer. But while he's in the freezer, he can't get out because like he's not strong enough to break out of the freezer. So then he climbs back out. He realized he wasn't strong enough. Then he realized he just sits on the floor and starts crying because he know that that's probably it for him. And then the black phone rings again. So this time, when he picks up the phone to answer it, like after he got off the ground crying, he picked up the phone to answer it. The person on the other end of the phone is Finney's old friend Robin. And Robin tells Finney to stop crying. You're going to get out of this. And he reminds Finney, he was like, what did I tell you at the beginning in the restaurant? And then Finney was like, you told me one day I had to stand up for myself. So he was like, you gonna make this. I didn't die in vain. But you're gonna avenge me, basically. You're gonna kill this dude. So he advises Finney to take the phone and put some dirt in it to make it heavier. And when the grabber comes back down, this is your time. You gotta kill him hit him with the phone. So then he tells Finney how to do it. He say, you gotta take one step back, one step forward, and just swing. Now do it again. Do it again. Do it again. You're gonna get out of this, Finney. So then Gwen goes searching for the house 7741 that she saw in the dream about Vance. While riding her bike, she sees 5 boys standing in the middle of the road, and it scares her, and she falls off the bike. They are basically standing right in front of the house that she recognized, where she recognized the trees in the house from Bill. I think it was Billy's dream. So she realized that's the house. So now she's gonna go back home and tell the police where to look. So Gwen hurries home and uses the card that the detectives gave her, and she uses the card to call the detective. Then Max, in the house, while he's studying his evidence, he pauses and thinks about it. What if his brother is the grabber? Because it got to be somebody close, and they got to live in this area. So Max decides, okay, I'm going to go look in the basement. So then Max decides to go down in the basement. Gwen gets on her bike to meet up with the police at the grabber's home. The grabber goes to the store to pick up some stuff to finally kill Finney. Max goes downstairs and finds Finney. Finney tells Max, call my dad. Can you call my dad? And then Max tells him, don't worry. My brother's not here. He's at work. But then, just then, the grabber is coming down the stairs with an axe, and he hits Max in the head with the axe and kills him. So now Max is dead, and the grabber gets mad at Finney and tells Finney, my brother was an idiot, but he was my idiot. And then Gwen arrives at the house, and the police detectives tell her to wait outside. So now the grabber is about to kill Finney. He's getting ready to kill Finney now. So then the police are about to break in the house to try to find Finney. And the grabber is downstairs in the basement with Finney, about to kill him. So then the grabber calls his big black dog down the stairs, and he ties the dog up. Then he proceeds to try to attack Finney, but Finney is ready. He getting ready to get the phone and do what Robin told him to do. So Finney decides to use all the past things that all the other people advised him on to try to get the grabber. So basically what he does, Finney leads the grabber into a trap that he sets by tripping him with the cord that Billy pulled from the wall. And when he tripped, he fell into the hole that Bruce began to dig, and he actually broke his ankle when he fell in that hole. And then he proceeded to follow Robin's advice and hit him with the black foam that was filled with dirt repeatedly. Just kept hitting him. And while the grabber was trying to fight back, but it was too much. So somehow Finney is able to get the cord around the grabber's neck and proceeds to choke him to death. And while Finney is doing this, the black phone rings. It begins to ring. And Finney tells the grabber, it's for you. And on the other side, it's Robin, Griffin, Bruce, Vance, and Billy on the phone, basically taunting the grabber, saying, now it's your turn. You're dead. You're finished. All that. See you in hell. Like that. They taunt him, telling him it's over for him. You're dead now. So then the police, they go into the house. They find a door that is covered, which leads to the basement. Then Finney used a piece of meat from the freezer that Vance told him about to lure the dog away from the stairs. So then Finney can proceed to start walking up the stairs so he can try to get out the house. So then while Finney is going up the stairs and the police find that door that's hidden behind like a file cabinet or something. The police realize that is where they open the door, and they realize that is actually where the grabber buried all the bodies of the boys that he kidnapped and killed. So it was actually two houses. It was one where he was keeping Finney, and it was one where he kept all the people that he killed buried. So that's when the detectives realized that. So now Finney is walking up the stairs, and he's about to get out and go outside. Finney makes his way up the stairs to the door. He unlocks the combination lock. He opens the door and walks outside. And Gwen is sitting there outside while she's praying that Finney is alive and well. So once Finney makes it outside, Gwen, she opens her eyes and she see Finney walking down the stairs, and then she just like runs to him. So Gwen runs to Finney and she gives him a big hug. They hug each other, and soon the police and the dad came and all that, and the dad ran over there and they all started hugging and stuff. He's grateful to see both his children alive, that nothing's wrong with Finney and all that. So they all just sit there hugging for a while. So then the father, Mr. Blake, he continues to embrace his children, and then he asks them to forgive him while he just breaks down crying. Because basically he didn't believe them, and the way he was treating them, he was abusive to them. He was basically an alcoholic drunk. So I guess that's why he was apologizing to him. And the movie basically ends with Finney returning to school as a hero for being the person that killed the grabber. Like, everybody was, they're whispering, hey, that's the guy that killed the grabber. Like, that's him. Yeah, that's him. Even like the bullies who were like bullying him, they weren't all Finney. It then ends with Finney sitting down in the classroom with the girl that he's like his lab partner, and they're smiling with each other. And that is how The Black Phone ends. So basically for me, I give the backstory a 4 out of a 10 because they really didn't give a good backstory. They didn't tell why the grabber was grabbing kids, like why he was doing what he was doing. Now the plot, I gave that a 7 out of 10 because he was just grabbing random kids that he saw alone. The protagonist in this movie, I consider like everybody, the kids that were kidnapped because they helped Finney escape. I consider them protagonists along with Gwen because she was actually helping Finney along the way. The antagonist, the grabber, I give it an 8 out of 10. I felt like he could have been like more intimidating, more scary, but I gave him an 8 out of 10. Now the climax of the movie, I gave a 9.5 out of 10 because I do enjoy how like Finney set him up, where he used everything that all the kids helped him, told him about, and he used that to trap the grabber and beat him with the phone and strangle him to death. So I did give the climax a 9.5 out of 10. So overall, my rating for the Black Phone is a 7.4 out of 10. I would recommend people watch it. So like again, it was spoilers throughout this movie, but I was still watching it. It was still entertaining. But thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. More videos coming soon. Trey T out. Peace.